I work for an events-based photographic company, so we usually I'm usually at the office, or I'm usually out in the field. So I'm not usually used to being at home all the time, but there's still plenty of stuff for me to do as far as systems and rostering and organization. Although we don't have any clients now because it is events up until hopefully September. So that's kind of our first postponed booking. So we do have to wait. Still have good wait before it goes back to normal. So yeah.
So a question that I always wanted to ask you is, and I never had the opportunity to, is who are you, and what do you actually do?
Um, so my real name is Brendan, and yeah, so I manage a photographic company that's run by somebody else, but I kind of look after our university clients. We photograph graduations and do a lot of PR photography and stuff like that. But I look after our universities across the country in Australia. From live in Brisbane. But yeah, I studied photography. It is my background, so I feel quite happy to be working in a job that I began doing when I was younger, and I love my job. I actually honestly love my job, so I feel pretty lucky. Yeah. So other than that, online you'd know me as Cor5aire, and I'm kind of look after DMR Rally, which isn't too far from basically what I do in real life, which is kind of event management kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. I got a 2.5-year-old, keeps me busy as well. That's my third full-time job. So yeah.
So what does that mean? You actually do you actually do photography? You run around the country with a camera and you take photos of like large events?
Yeah, so we we set up photographic studios on site at universities. I personally don't take photographs any longer. I look after the team and the equipment, and I make it all happen. I book it in, uh, do the rostering, get everybody there, do the setups. I talk to the clients on site, our graduation coordinators on site, or uni coordinators, and look after them. So a lot of customer service type work for me, and just handling their requests. So if I need to take photos, I can. Occasionally, if for some reason, someone might call in sick, I will step into the studio, or if someone, it just needs to happen, I'll just jump into a studio and photograph portraits if I need to. But it's honestly not part of my job really at the moment. It hasn't been for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years since I've had this role. But we would run up to 50 odd studios in a day in December at peak time. So we're around the country, you got 50 studios set up in one day. So it's on that kind of scale. So yeah.
That's pretty cool then. So being in isolation, played a lot more Star Citizen, I guess. Like, what's your schedule of playing Star Citizen nowadays?
Yeah, I'm spending time with the family a bit more now. So spending time with my 2.5-year-old daughter and my wife through the day. Then when she's asleep, yeah, getting on. The last few days have been a little bit busy. We've been organizing the Run with Kane event coming up this weekend. So scheduling and rostering for that, which we're just finalizing the really final touches today before that goes live tomorrow. But yeah, just kind of playing. Like, I have this small online community of my own that's kind of separate from Star Citizen. It's just a group of friends I've known since I was some of them I've known since I was 5 years old. And we've grown up together and stayed together. There's a good 8 of us, and we game together. So whatever's popular at the time, we kind of game together. And then me and a couple of the guys play Star Citizen on our own, separate from those guys. So Big Pete, he's one of our staff members, and Penfold, they're 2 of those guys. So we jump on and play Star Citizen late at night. Usually going to bed quite late, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in cargo from 30Ks. We do a lot of cargo runs, and we do a lot of research and photography, and we do, like, we're looking at Microtech at the moment for kind of a rally through Microtech, right? So we did a test rally last month there. So we've spent a bit of time there, temporarily creating routes. Like Pete and myself and Penfold will go and do an orbital view, look at some terrain, and go, yes, start marker, finish marker, what terrain's in between. Then we'll go down, we'll run it, and we'll go, yeah, that's okay, that's not so okay. We'll take some photos of that and move on until we kind of find the right kind of equilibrium. So we're kind of doing that at the moment, a lot of testing on Microtech. But yeah, so to answer your question, yes, we play Star Citizen. the big answer. But yeah.
No, that's good. So no, I truly that's one thing, I love about you, Cor5aire, is like you're so driven. It's like as soon as one thing's done, it's like on to the next. And most people
Mm.
just like, okay, I need to take a break from a bit.
Yeah.
Or at least
Yeah.
it's like, hey, let's have a victory of like until the next year, right? Because you have 365 days until the next one, technically, but you have
Yeah.
20 other things going on.
We do this isolation and staying at home and quarantine and all of that is kind of health at the moment. I have been working on a lot of the events that I have been talking about for the last year. So now I kind of have quite a big chunk of time to do that. So I have been spending a lot of time on that. So I have been talking about the Hearst and Hurt Locker. I've been working with the arts and crafts team on that to have a trailer done, and we're pretty close to releasing that. We did actually finish the logo, and that is really close. So um, we're in discussions about having some kind of umbrella organization above that, which you know about.
What?
But
What? Hold on. What? Above arts and crafts?
no, above the events. So
Oh,
Rally
okay,
and
yes.
yeah. So
Sorry.
no. They do their thing. They do they do what they do and they do it well. So they don't need me involved. Although Cor5aire and the team, and you would know because you've had commercials made by them as well.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like absolutely. Just for context, anybody watching, like Arts and Crafts is like the dream team of Damn Shame, Uther Riley, and Hasgaha.
Uther Riley.
Is there anybody else in his team yet? Do you know, or is it just the three of them, the three amigos?
Yeah, I think so. Monk Gaming, but I think he might be. No, I think he's separate from Damn Shame, so I could be wrong. But Monk helps them out a hell of a lot as well. So
that's good.
So they're a great team. If you need, they're quite busy with the projects I've given to them at the moment. But yeah, they obviously you've seen if you've seen the Damo Rally trailer, I should say, you can tell what kind of effort and time that they put into those, especially in such an early stage of alpha. Like it really is amazing how much time they spend on those projects, and they really like deliver. And I'll give them a briefing, but they just go above and beyond, and I don't have much to complain about when they give me like a first draft. I'm like, oh god, I don't have to change much, but they're on point and they're very, very good. If you haven't seen anything from Arts and Crafts, they have tons of videos. Look under Cor5aire as well, and you'll see all of their quality work. But no, I'm talking about our events coming up as well. So we're also looking at a league event coming up too called the Stand 7, which Bad Token Race Club, which you're also aware of. They run monthly events, even fortnightly events. Just they test out little tracks and do little racing events with a lot of the community. So that kind of burst from the Damo Rally Discord and a bunch of people that met there, and then they kind of created their own club so that they can keep up racing, because we just do the once a month practice, and they're obviously craving more racing. So they just did their own little club, and it's doing quite well. If you're into racing and you need regular races, Bad Token Race Club are doing plenty of those. So they're going to help with the Stand 7 stuff. We were supposed to have a meeting last week, but I was asleep, so I have to get back to Momo on that one. That's my bad. But we're doing like a 7 race league event, and they're gonna help. I'm gonna do all the art and the promotion and kind of what I've done for the Damo Rally, and kind of do it for Stand 7. And that's gonna be another part of the things that we have. So we've got quite a few events happening throughout the year now. So Damo Rally in January, Run with Kane this month. We have our Grey Cat social event, which is getting bigger and bigger.
That's my favorite one. I'm sorry to play favorites.
It's fun.
It's so much fun.
It is fun. So we change the course every year, and it's just Grey Cats, and we do a mystery course. You don't find out until the day, and then we ship all the Grey Cats out to a location, do a race, whether it be a lap-based race or whatever we do, and get as many Grey Cats in that race as we can. So we do that in July, and that's just a fun thing. It's not supposed to be like super intense like the Damo Rally is. So we do that, and then we've got the Hearst and Hurt Locker coming on board. We've got Stand 7 coming on board with 7 races throughout the year. We're looking at this Microtech snow biome rally because it's just super fun. The terrain, the 3 changes in terrain just really break the rally up.
Interesting.
So really enjoying practicing that at the moment. So we're heavily into that too.
That's cool.
So yeah, man, I'm working on a lot of stuff at the moment. Yeah.
It's gonna be quite like a dirt rally. Like it's gonna look like the I don't know. I compared to like the Volkswagen one. I always see like Volkswagens flying around in dirt racing, dirt rallies. I'm sorry, I know
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little bit. You're like the Mac Daddy of racing. You know, after you talk about all this stuff, I'm like, I really know who to go to if I need any racing stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because growing up in Australia, this is like a huge V8 supercar touring racing culture, especially when you come from like a really bogan town like I do. I come from Bundaberg, which is 4 hours north of Brisbane. If anyone knows Bundaberg, it's if I think it's where the mullet was born. I don't know if I'm talking too much. I don't know if I'm talking too much slang here, but I think there's a Corn song that it sounds like that they say that the mullet came came from Bundaberg, and they're not even they're not definitely not from where I was born. So yeah, I grew up there, and V8 supercars are huge. So is rugby league and NRL. But the V8 supercars are just like a stock. Uh, my dad had basically the car that they race. Like it's a Commodore and a Falcon. It's Commodore versus Falcon, and they just beef them up and they just race, and then they have all these teams, and it's like nothing else. It's Australia's own kind of racing tournament. So I grew up with that, watching that. Dad watched it all the time, and I kind of grew up with it from there. Always liked the Dakar Rally, hence the Damar Rally. Um, yeah, Dad watched touring cars, MotoGP, Formula One. Just yeah, watched a lot of that stuff. So, mm. So did
I
Mum.
I have to apologize about BRTC. I didn't or BTRC. I didn't realize they came out of the Damar Rally. We were just talking about them
Uh,
earlier, and I was like, "Hey, have you heard of these guys before?"
yeah. Well, I think tell me if I'm wrong, bad token, but I'm pretty sure like Ibra, Mr. Ibra, Diva, and Momo and some of the exiles. I'm pretty sure they all met. I could be wrong. They all met in when they were all doing the Dama Rally practice runs. I spent a lot of time with those guys early on. Um, I could be wrong. Text me, guys, if you want to hit me up. But I could be wrong. But we did practice runs back in early, I think March, April 2018. I think we kind of started doing practice runs, and those guys kind of joined up, yeah, and then I don't know, Bad Token didn't start for like another year, and they were racing. Those particular people were racing, every month for the whole year. So, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where it kind of began. And then they got their own Discord channel. Go and join that Discord channel. That's where all their events are. Yeah, I think, I think I'm right.
I think you're right. I agree.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So, you would know quite a few races. You're developing some web software with quite a lot of people that come on board, even the European community as well.
Yeah, right. That's one thing. That's what I was going to mention. Because like you're talking about these guys, and I'm like, man, they've been doing that every day for a year, like, or for
Mm.
years now, I guess, right? They've just been racing, and
Yep.
they aren't even affiliated with the guys in Europe, right? Like Cyrez and
No,
Vigvert, the guys who are holding the leaderboards right now
no,
for racing, just
no.
two
Yeah.
totally different universes, you know? And
Well,
you ever see those guys race before? Those guys are psychotic. Seriously.
well, there's the two styles, right? There's the Arena Commander style built-in star system mechanic that is there that you can race in. There's inbuilt leaderboards and all of that kind of stuff. But obviously, what we're doing is not, it's not set within the mechanics that Star System use. It's all emergent gameplay, so
Yes.
it's all built by us, run by us. Our camera team is, how the footage is created is by people running cameras for us, and we stream that footage to our commentators live, and all our officials are on the ground creating markers, and we got our security guys looking after the skies and feeding us information, and it's just this huge big you know event for us. Like it's massive. We pulled in 15,000 views in January, which I'm super proud of. The whole team should be very proud of themselves. We've got about 10 to 12 people that kind of work hardcore behind the scenes with us when the events are on. So when the events are on, we've got quite a lot of support. In between events, I'm doing a lot of the art and promotion and stuff like that, and I talk to them a lot. But on practice days and event days, those guys always come back, and they've been doing it for almost 2 years now. So but yeah, we had a huge year. We doubled the teams we had. We doubled the views that we had. We doubled the spectators. It was just a massive year. We added, I'm sitting on 890 jump right now, but we added the whole VIP experience, which to be honest, Yacht Club helped me out quite a bit there. I did it quite late. It was always a plan, and I'm like, okay, Yacht Club are on board now. Let's have a quick discussion about it and get it in, and we got something in, and we want to improve on that. Next year and improve the VIP experience, and do it in a different way. So being a VIP doesn't just mean that you're a famous streamer or anything like that. Like, we have a lot of people that are important to the rally, so spots for them is very important as well. But we're gonna do that a little bit differently. It'll be a little bit smoother than this year, but it was still fun. It was still a very cool addition to the rally.
Totally. I have a biased perspective on that because I was in
You do.
yacht number 5, I think.
Yeah.
I think I was in
Mm.
yacht number 5. I flew
Yep.
that one, right? And I mean, I had these weird characters with me on board that ship, and we ran out of fuel, and we're like, shit, what do we do now, right? So we end
Yeah.
up flying all over the verse, just trying to find fuel. And it's like, hey, we have a race we're supposed to be a part of right now.
Oh, damn straight you do. You're a server leader as well, mate. Yeah. You had commitments,
Well,
for sure.
At that point, they were doing the flying because I had to look after the spreadsheet. That was my
Yeah.
main goal, was the spreadsheet, and that's what I was doing.
Yep.
I didn't really need
Yep.
to be in game for that necessarily, but that's
Yep.
why I was like, okay, I might as well fly the 890 around and be a
Yep.
baller.
Yep. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know how we kind of run the rally, we did have 8 servers, so it is very intensive as far as organization goes. So the rosters have to be spot on, and our server leaders run each of those 8 servers. So we have 8 server leaders, including myself, and they invite everybody into the party, launch a server, and then get the stuff underway. But the server leader also has this other task where basically they have to sit there and they have to track distance information coming in from the teams, and that gets all put into a central location where our commentators can kind of drag it and go, okay, they're at this distance, they're at this distance. So just so we can kind of keep an eye on those things. Anything that happens, like crashes, explosions, people dying, didn't bring their med pens or whatnot, all that stuff's in that spreadsheet as well. So they have this huge central tracking system in the background, which this year was the most successful. It still has progress to make it even better. So hopefully throughout this year we'll progress that, and it'll be better next year. But yeah, it is a huge undertaking. I'm very proud of like where we've gone with it as far as emerging gameplay. So I'm only going to do events based on emergent gameplay. I enjoy it. I don't know. I was listening to a podcast the other week, and they did mention the rally, and they were wondering, why we do it, in alpha at this point. But I don't know, man. It's the fun that I have and the fun that we all have. So I don't know, shoot me, but it's a hell of a lot of fun to do. So
It's something, and from my perspective at least, it's something that you can't really describe to people, but to experience it and to see it, it's profound. It seems like a certain element of humanity almost. And like the reason why I think this is,
wow.
no, I'm serious, because one, Kane, when I was doing practice runs with him once in a cyclone because he wanted to train a team for Ultima, and I'm like, that's cool, sure. And I just watch how he played, and like the methodology they have around managing rocks is just like nobody thinks
rock
about
management.
that. Yeah,
Oh, no,
totally.
right. Oh,
And I'm like, these people who are doubters out here that are like, wait till the game comes out. Like, you don't even see the game. Like, you're missing, you're really missing the game. What's happening right now?
Yeah, like you play any other game, and you find all the tiny little tricks to be really good at that game, right? And that's exactly what we're doing now. Obviously, the game changes, and I think that's their point. It's like, oh, well, the next patch is going to change everything you do.
But
the next
that's
patch
what makes it good.
It does make it good. It does make it good because you knew what came before, you knew what came after, you knew what was wrong, and you knew how they improved it, and then you learned as it. By the time game hits, you'll be so ahead of the pack. It's unfathomable.
That's true.
You'll be top of the game. Some of these guys, and I won't say who they are, but there's a few organizations out there now that are so good at what they do. It's just like I don't even know. Like, I'm not particularly a racer. Like, I'll go out and race and test a track, but I'm not really a competitive racer. I'm more on the event organization side, right? So I know enough, and I hear enough from our guys to understand exactly what those things are. And I get a lot of in-depth information as far as that goes. But But just what they do and how they do it and how much time they spend finding out that information is just it blows my mind that they are so good at it. And then when games released, yeah, well, we got big prizes. They can win some big prizes out there. So.
I wanted to ask you about ageism in the Daymar Rally. Have you heard? Okay, so you've heard about this. I heard about it. I eavesdropped in another Discord, and I heard about this.
Honestly, no. I haven't heard a specific comment from somebody or a group of people. No, I haven't. I thought it was going to be a general topic, but I'm not sure of something that's recently happened. Want to enlighten
Not
me?
anything that's recently happened. It was something I heard months and months and months ago. But it's true. It's so true. Well, I feel like it's true that these people get stuck in a mindset of the patches and it affects their gameplay. But fresh people coming in are more capable at doing these races because their fresh perspective allows them to approach the problems differently.
Really? Okay. I wouldn't have said that.
That's why I ask.
Are you talking about in the type of racing that we do, or in like the Star Citizen mechanic based races like Arena Commander?
No, I feel like you're running the only race that's going on right now, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Like the teams that have practiced with us and continue to practice with us are generally. Well, actually, there's a lot of teams that don't practice with us as well that also did extremely well in the last rally, and I don't know their history as much as I do people like Scar Imperium and Exiles and Team Shift and people like that. So I can usually trust that those guys will get a pole position because they usually do. But we had some big names coming through like O-Corp and Daedalus Initiative that did some pretty good pole positions, and they are practicing in their own time. I know some of them are younger than me. But I get your point. Like, as I get older, I'm getting worse and worse at games. So it wouldn't surprise me if young FPS games it takes me so much longer to I have to spend time on a game. Like when Apex Legends comes out, it's like, wow, this is so fast. I am so terrible at this game. And then I just had to spend time with it to kind of adjust to the speed. But I think the younger generation's reflexes, it's natural. Like they are better from the get go. I remember being really good at games when I was young. I don't think I could be that. I don't think I could be as good straight off the bat now. And you're talking about younger people coming in to the patches, or that's what you're talking about, right?
That's how I understood it. Yes.
Yeah. So, that's probably a lot of fact to that comment.
Okay. Well, that's good. So just to change the subject a little bit.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
35.
35. Okay.
How old are you?
Okay.
Who asked that on live session? Goodness gracious.
38. Yeah, 38. Almost 40. Getting there. Mm.
Well, on that subject, tell me your video game resume. Tell me the games that resonated with your life.
God, I started on Amstrad. I would have been 6 or 7, I think. Dad had an Amstrad, and there was games on there like Gold Digger. I think I had Indiana Jones on there. Some of the early LucasArts games on there. I think that's where I first kind of started. But I remember first like really looking forward to games when Command and Conquer was on its way. I played June 2, right? From Westwood Studios.
Nobody's played that game, by the way, and I appreciate that you played that game.
Oh man, so good. So I played that obviously before Command and Conquer came out, but when CNC was coming out, and I was watching all the articles and all the imagery, I just remember just telling my dad like every week, like, look at this. This looks amazing. And I owned that game when it came out. Like I was doing, tons of early tactic, ending. I had miniature lands. Dad had like a 16 port hub in the house, and people would bring their computers over, and we'd do like these mini LANs at the house, and play Command. Yeah, and play Command and Conquer, original Command and Conquer, not Red Alert. Like I love those games as well, but CNC was like it for me. I just thought that was amazing. I played a stack of games. Like I played around that. Not long after that, I played Wing Commander 4. I've still got the box over here, actually.
I think Wing Commander 4 was the biggie. I'd have to see some numbers on that.
I like saw like 7 discs, and I'm like, wow, 7 discs. This game's huge. So yeah, I played that. I didn't have a console until year 10 or 11, I think, and I honestly played GoldenEye for 2 years straight. I think my record was like in license to kill, 42 kills in 10 minutes or something. Like I just played the hell out of that game and missed a lot of school
Yep, I can relate.
playing that game. So yeah, GoldenEye, and I love the GTA series on PC, and then I try to play as much as I can. I used to try and just finish games and just move on, just kind of absorb it, move to the next one. But I did get stuck on GTA 3 for quite some time. I did enjoy that a lot. Oh man, I don't know. I play a lot of games. I play a lot of games. I'm playing a lot of games right now. I'm going back and visiting. I'm playing Half-Life Alex at the moment.
Oh yeah, how do you like that? Do you have a VR headset?
Yeah, I've got the first commercial Oculus release. I've had it for a little while now, but I'm still using that. It still works pretty good. And yeah, playing Half-Life Alex, it's pretty cool. It's probably one of the better VR experiences I've had, and it's got a slight horror vibe too, which is always pretty good in the VR environment. So
when you play this, are you imagining Star Citizen like this?
I got into what's that third party VR application, Vorpex.
Yes,
yeah,
Vorpex.
Vorpex. Yeah, so I had to play around with Vorpex and Virtual Desktop and all that with Star Citizen. Frame rates were pretty bad, but you got a small sense of what it could be like. And then I remember spawning a constellation and walking out onto one of the lander pads also, and just looking up at the constellation, and I just thought, wow, this is going to be incredible. But the frame rates were terrible to play like that, but just to get that sense of scale was amazing. VR sense of scale for Star Citizen will be incredible, and it was when I had that small taste. It was awesome. It looked unreal. It would be very cool. It'd be very, very cool.
I don't think if I did it, I don't think it could ever go back. What do you think?
Yeah, I do kind of struggle with like keyboard and mouse when I've got the headset on.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that will go, because I don't know if I could play as well with the gamepad. I'm not sure. Like I still use dual sticks, and that will be fine when I'm flying. But going into FPS and switching back to the keyboard and mouse, yeah, I don't know. I have to do it to see how it goes. But I don't think. Yeah, you're right. Like VR experience in Star Citizen will be incredible. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what has your tell me more about the if the Daymar rally has affected your life, like your real life?
It's a good question. When I first started it, I did the first rulebook in 3 days, did the website and launched it on Reddit and whatnot, and Spectrum, and just like really dug down. I didn't actually think that it would turn into what it is now. And we did spend a lot of time building up a little bit of hype, and I will say, because that's exactly what happened. Like we did the announcement, we did the rule book, we did practice events, waiting for a few mechanics to come in, and 3.0 before we did our first event. And we spent almost 8 months kind of just like practicing, hyping, doing incentives, and we do a lot of like outside promotions outside of it. And so as far as my time and what the Daymar rally has done for me is basically it's the community that kind of got behind it, and the community that sits and helps me every practice run, like those 12 to 15 people. And it's not just them, obviously, it's everyone who comes to a practice run, and it's the breadth of the community. So we've got quite a few Russian teams that come quite regularly, a lot of the Europeans, the Spaniards, got a couple of UK teams that are regular, obviously tons of the US come and practice, but the French teams are amazing, a couple of Swedes that are regular. Yeah, it's just it's amazing that all of those nationalities are just drawn to the one project. So for me, being in Australia, born in Bundaberg, and just kind of having this huge community of international people come in and chat, and everyone just gives each other the chance to participate in this thing that I started. Yeah, it's weird, and like I said earlier, I'm very proud of it, and I do put a lot of time in it, a lot of time into it. And obviously I want to I've really feel humbled to be in this community, and I want to create more events, and I'm not going anywhere. I love it so much, and it does sit next to my current job, right? So I do a lot of events now, and I'm kind of used to the event side, and I do love my day job, and I do love the Demo Rally. I don't know, man. It's similar to what I do. It ties in my interest of gaming, and it's just perfect for me. It really is just perfect for me.
No, I don't mean to kiss your ass when I say this, but like you bring out a good in Star Citizen, and that's like I think this is 100% unintentional, unless you're secretly a spy for CIG. But you bring
I'm
out
not.
the best in this game. I think we could call it a game because of your activities.
Well, thank you very much. I guess, yeah, the CIG kind of connection, like, I was actually quite surprised. I'm like, okay, we had a really good first year, but we didn't really hear anything from the community team that much. I think Ulf was the first person to kind of reach out at some point after the first rally and kind of say hello. But yeah, we really don't have a lot of ties. Like, the last two Citizen Cons I've kind of been able to meet quite a few of the people, and that helps when it's physical, right? When you actually meet them face to face and kind of start to build a relationship. But we're definitely not tied in. We did luck out end of last year. I contacted them. I kind of mentioned to Tyler, can I, can I release some shirts? Like, people want some apparel. Can I do this? And he's like, just submit a proposal and we'll see how we go. So I did go through that experience with them. That was the first serious experience I had with them, and went through their legal team and just kind of got some shirts approved so that we could sell a limited amount. So that was my first kind of big experience with CIG. And then CitizenCon just gone. That was great. Got interviewed live on air. Tyler was pretty good. We had a quick chat to him before I left. So but I I don't get much dialogue with them. I see some of the streamers, and they do mention, they seem to mention regular contact with them, but we're not really. I don't know. I don't really see like we're that connected to CIG, but and we don't need to be. Like, it's a community run event. It's not an integral part of it, but it is nice to be supported by the game that you love. Obviously,
Yeah.
like, I want that. I want that 1,000%. And I think next year, I think next rally, and we might see a little bit more involvement from them. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So, but yeah, really, no, we don't have a lot of ties to them, to be honest. Apart from the shirt deal we did, which I'm very appreciative of. Thank you, COG, for letting me do that. But other than that, we run the whole thing on our own with no contact from them. Every event we've had, we've done it without prior engagement.
Here's how I remember the Daymar Rally happening this year, or at least how it ended. So I remember that it was a cyclone, right? The last one, the last server that died was a cyclone, right? Or was it an Ursa?
I think I think Kane was on a rover server. I would have said it was a rover server. There
It
was
was a
one.
rover.
Yeah, it would have been. It should have been. Yeah.
So there was one last racer on the last server that was still running, and then I got in the 890 and I flew out to the outpost to wait for him at the finish line, and the server just 30k'd. And it was like the whole day. That was it. They all went to that one last thing. It was a beautiful
Man.
30k. It was like a
Mm.
fireworks thing because the whole thing was just crazy, right? And then the
Yeah, it
last
was
of it
crazy.
was just like, okay, it's over now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's nice finale to it. Yeah.
and
Like, we lucked out. We lucked out big time that day. I know two of the servers did have early 30Ks and were able to restart and kind of finish their legs. I think we actually lost one server to a 30K, and then that was the second one, and then that they had to kind of quit that server because we had a prerequisite. Um, if there was if there's 130K before a certain point, you can restart, but after that, there's no more
that's
because
right. Yeah.
we just couldn't keep going and going. So we did have that prerequisite. So I think we only really ultimately lost one server to 30K, but yeah, that's pretty cool to hear that. Yeah, it is like the fireworks. It's like this is definitely finished today on
Totally.
this server. Yeah, no, that's
Like,
cool. That's cool.
well, also we were
Man.
testing OCS. Really, like that
Mm.
was the first go at OCS, like the most that they probably had at OCS one time, I imagine.
Yeah, so almost we had about 380 participants across 8 servers. I'm sure CIG were having a look at those servers because that 8 servers spooled up at the same time. Yeah, it would have been pretty intensive. pretty intensive for them.
I
But
like
we
to.
lucked out. Server wise, 30K wise, we had a pretty good day. Yeah, pretty good day as far as that goes. But yeah, bring on server meshing. Geez, like we got eight server leaders right now, right? We got a one server leader, and we can, and with server meshing, and they can party up the whole thing. On the SCL just gone, they're talking about having 800 people in your friends list, so we don't have to worry about 250 cap. So we can actually hold an event on our size, because we are looking at 400 people in one event right now. So it's a big event. The 800 cap will be good. Server meshing, I can't wait. I have a feeling
800. Whoa. No, you should
that's what
definitely
they
take
said.
that. We should make that a rumor. Okay. So it's confirmed. CIG operative Cor5aire has confirmed 800 man
Yeah, that's
cap.
confirmed. The number was floated around within the last 24 hours. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm I'm definitely hoping that is true. Because at the moment, we between our servers, we've always got to flush out some of our friends list and re-invite new participants, or it's just cumbersome. It's just and to be honest, the party system has been like that since we started. The
Yeah.
party system has not changed since we started doing it in 2 years. So it's overdue, like a lot of other things. But and I know a lot of other people who run events, and there's plenty of them that run FPS events. Plenty of emergent events. They all have the same problem as we do. So.
I enjoyed it as a server leader. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. That's what started this whole fireworks thing, because I got to go to all the participants, and I felt like I was a mission control in Apollo, and I was like,
Yeah, man.
okay, are you go? And then the next guy would be like, I'm go. And then I'm like, next person, go. We just went down the list. I was like, oh, I'm so cool right now.
Yeah, it's cool. Hey, invite sent.
Exactly.
Confirmation. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Yeah, we obviously got a lot. We've got a lot better at that. We're getting pretty quick. It used to be like an hour and a half setup time. We're getting it down pretty tight now, and a lot of the people who come back are used to it as well, which helps. So yeah, it's crazy, man. And obviously we got Run with Kane this weekend, so we got a pretty tight amount of people in the roster, so that will have to be on point. And it's a running event, so it's a little bit different. Desync is even more intense with the foot racing. So we're going to try and sync everybody either in vehicles or on a ship before we start the run, to try and reduce desync if we can. It's just a theory, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, we got a lot of cameras in this one this weekend. We got like 7 cameras on this one race. So yeah, we got about, I don't know, we got a few teams. There's 16, 17 teams. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's gonna be good.
How about that Kane documentary?
Yeah, Imperial Geographic did that.
Isn't that crazy?
Kane doco. They're great. Imperial Geographic are great. This is their second outing with us as well. So they've done both rallies. They've been present at both rallies. But for them to do a video on this most recent one, is awesome. Yeah. Cosmonaut. I don't know if you've heard of Cosmonaut. They just released a article on one of our practice runs as well. So there's a few, and there's people like Echelon U7 out there as well. There's a lot of that style of gameplay too, which I love. I love the whole news reporting thing, the camera work thing that we use. Man, there's just so much to the game, hey?
Totally. I just love that it was a 20-minute documentary, and it was like good. I loved it so much. There was like recreations in it, like they would have had to have done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was very, very cool. I loved it. It was very good. And obviously very, helpful that the Kane was in that team. He's obviously moved on to another organization since then. But yeah, Kane's had a good ride. I was away for work a few months ago, and I was messaging him and said, look, we're doing this Run with Kane event. And he literally said that it had changed his life. But he's probably had this comment with you as well. But yeah, it's just funny to hear that from people, like those kinds of comments. It's like, wow, this game can change people's lives and have some kind of meaningful impact on it. When it's like barely even, like, it's not, I won't say barely a game, but it's early. It's still kind of early alpha for the SC PU. So it's crazy.
I mean, it's really got nothing to do with the technology. Like this is
Yeah,
like
that's true.
a
It's people.
it's a brilliance of our species or something. Because like Kane is
Yeah.
another part of this whole fireworks thing. Like where did this random guy came in and he got shot, and all of a sudden now there's a triathlon for not a triathlon, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it's not just about Kane. Obviously, the year before, Raider Alexis from Sky Imperium had a probably even more impressive run in my eyes, to be honest. Sorry, Kane,
she
but
was the Knox biker. Is that right?
no, I'm trying to. I think they're nurses as well.
Oh, they're
But
nurses.
Raider Alexis, it's a guy. He ran for 2.5 hours to retain a position in the rally. So he actually had kind of a proper goal, whereas Kane was almost just running to run. He just didn't. He just wanted to get as far as he could on foot, which some people might find even more admirable. But pretty much the whole pack had kind of you know the whole pack had pretty much finished, and Kane's just still running and running. Whereas Raider he was fighting to retain that position, and they were dropping down. They were losing positions, but they just got third place on their div. So yeah, so Raider's gonna run as well this weekend with Kane. So they're both
Cool.
running against each other. So we made some shirts for them as well.
Oh, we should show some shirts off.
Yeah,
Good
chuck that
point.
up. So I just made some quick shirts. So the whole idea behind this was, I'm not a Twilight fan, but like Team Edward and Team Jacob. I don't know if like this is just really nerdy as hell, and I don't watch Twilight, but it was huge at the time. So it's like we got a Go Raider shirt and a Run with Kane shirt. It's kind of like which side are you on? Which year were you into when you were watching the rally? So that's kind of the idea behind the two shirts.
Hankin, are you out there? Do you see the shirts? You should get a shirt.
Did
How much are they
I
for
just
sale for right now?
I just mentioned Twilight on air, man. I just mentioned Twilight on air.
Well, it's a good love story. So
Is it Canadian? Is that why you're so
I don't know.
behind it?
I don't.
I feel like it is.
Let's not talk about. We're talking about shirts right now. Okay, how much are these shirts selling for?
They're 35 a piece.
35 a piece.
Yeah, so plus shipping, international shipping. So we're moving after this round of shirts. We'll be moving to. Well, we're talking to Teespring at the moment, just so we can get some more international distribution and make it a little bit easy for myself. So I hand pack all the shirts myself. Get them
really?
Get them. Yeah, get them all in at the moment. Just because the jerseys kind of did that. Because I just couldn't get the specific jerseys I was after through an online company at the time, with the time restrictions I had on the deal that we did with CIG. It was just all time based, but I ended up doing all the recent orders for the last year all by hand and getting that all sent out. So it would be nice to move across to someone like Teespring. But yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so yeah, there's a couple of shirts there. Kane's got his name on the back of the Run with Kane one, and and the Sky Imperium logo's on the Go Raider one as well, because they're a great team. Sky Imperium are a very dedicated team, and the Spaniards, and we're all thinking of the Spaniards right now. They're having a rough time over there, so yeah, they're on the website now. They went up today. If you're interested in the running event, or you're a Kane fan or a Raider fan, yeah, we got some merch for you. And the great thing about these is that we don't need to run licenses by CIG.
Yeah,
that's a thing. So it's an ordeal.
And you got an Ultima shirt there? Is that an Ultima shirt you're selling as well?
Yes. Well, Kane's with Ultima.
Okay.
So yeah, his org is on the sleeve. Yep. Ultima. If you're an Ultima fan,
GG.
How is Ultima going, man? Like I'm a big fan of the organization. If I ever pick a more permanent organization, I may give you a call. But yeah, like I'm a huge fan of the advertising, the website. It's a cool organization. Hats off to you. Like when I saw it, I honestly thought it was a real company. I had to understand what you were, because I had never heard of you before when you emailed me that first time ages ago. And I did a little bit of research. I'm like, what? Is this like we're gonna get real life sponsors here, or SC community sponsors? But yeah, it's an awesome website. Very cool.
Yeah, I really don't know how to describe it, and even still, I don't know whether it's a real company or it's, But I think the longer I can keep it going for, the more likely I can make it into a real company. I mean, it would be really cool if I could actually get into supplying fuel. When I was living up in northern Canada, it's actually really practical to start up a gas well if you wanted to. So I mean, if I would have played my cards a little differently, I could have got into a situation like that. And I'm like, wouldn't that be a funny thing to do? You know, start a corporation off, but start it within a video game.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
could. You could fund some more races. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. Well, check
No, it's
out.
cool. It's cool, man. And you know, you get a bit. You've been lucky enough to get some booze at CitizenCon and get
Oh
a
my
bit of
God, that's been
exposure there.
amazing. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever I can do to keep doing that, I would just be happy as a clam if we just. And like last year was magical. So I know a lot of people complain about it, and maybe we have a bias with CitizenCon because we see CitizenCon so much differently than other people, I would imagine. And I mean, I just thought it was the coolest thing how like I had the guys from Star Racing there, and you were there, and we were like, we were basically all
it's like
side
a
by
little mini
side.
club.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
I know, it was surreal. Like in Star Racing, we're right next to me. I'm pretty sure they kind of semi did that on purpose. But yeah, the whole grand bazaar vibe that they put into that thing, I just thought it was awesome. And like you said, like we do see it from a different perspective because we don't even, honestly, I was just talking to so many people. Like Swifty was there with me and helping me out as well. But we're just talking to so many people all day long. Like you just want to meet as many people as you can. Like I think we only went to the opening and closing ceremony because the bazaars shut down. And that's what happened to me in Austin as well. I don't know about you. But I didn't see any of the presentations except for the opening and closing. Maybe hopefully one day, I was hoping in LA because we have quite a lot of the Dame Morale team there. They might get to go and watch Tony Z talk about something. But yeah, I'm sure you're pretty much manning that on your own too, the booth, right?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, if I just had to do
Oh,
that,
I love it. I'm not
yeah,
complaining. I
I'd
think
be
it's
fine
great.
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like those guys that were doing the simulator, the theaters of war thing. I don't know, whatever. I mean, the people who did it, they were on camera and stuff like that, and that was probably
Yeah.
a really good. The people who they had did it were the best people to do it. I think. I think if I was to do that, I would just sit there bumbling, being like, "Oh, I fly trade. I do trade in this game. Where's my caterpillar?"
Yeah,
So,
obviously
yeah.
there was a few people in that room. Ari got in there. Ari Neo from
Yes.
Star and Pyramid. He
Yes.
got in there. He's a great ambassador for the
Yes,
game.
that's true. That's who you need, right?
Yeah, he was in there. He was good. Yeah, and obviously a lot of the more popular, quite a few popular streamers were in there, which is it is important to have those people do it. Like, I know why they do it. I think Theaters of War is kind of an important thing for Star Citizen as well. Not so much like building the persistent universe, but just future gameplay opportunities and longevity of the game. I think it's kind of important. And I don't know. It's like there's the FPS portion, there's the the simulator portion of Star Citizen, and I don't really think Star Citizen will compete against something like Call of Duty or Battlefield. But to have that kind of same element in Star Citizen, I don't know. Is it too much? Like I don't know. I don't think they need to compete with that thing. Like it's a cool thing, but um, I like it. But at the same time, I don't know if it's super necessary. Like when they talk about fun, like that's a separate mechanic. I want like Sean Tracy was going, we want to put fun in it, so they created Theaters of War. But we all know that we want fun in the persistent universe. We want fun in the gameplay in the persistent universe. We want emergent gameplay that's fun and gameplay loops that are fun. Not so much another Star Marine.
I think it's their new F word. I think they're just because like they threw fun around today as well, and I'm like, oh, it's so weird to be hearing them say that.
They are. They still said fidelity.
Well, maybe fidelity was the old F word, and this is the new F word that they've incorporated. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe you could make some pretty funny TikToks with those two words based on Star Citizen.
That's true. Do you have a TikTok account? Are you a TikToker?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
I'm working on it. I'd like to get this show on TikTok actually, because a couple of people had recommended that to me. So I don't know.
My wife's fairly not into new technology really, but also not into delving into yet another social platform. But
That's
obviously,
true.
liking tech, I'm interested in the latest popular platforms, so I have been looking on it. I don't know. It's a very light-hearted social media platform. Like it's not a nasty platform.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, I like that about it, I guess. But Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, run with Kane's on this weekend. Kane is our runner. So obviously, the last month and a half or so, we there's been a lot of talk about griefing and stuff like that, and whether what happened to Kane was griefing or not. And there's basically certain podcasts that have kind of like been talking about the Damo Rally and talking about how they are so skilled in like getting into the servers and blah blah blah. Like, and it's just like a whole bunch of propaganda and rubbish. But like
Conspiracies.
one of those servers had like more than 10 spots available in it. Like, it's not hard to get in. You just enter the server. Like, it's pretty easy. But yeah, so I think it's all just a bunch of rubbish. But like the griefing side with Kane, I don't know. I'll be very interested to hear your opinions on it. But like, I am all for legitimate piracy. Like, piracy is great. Like, it's going to be huge. Like, why are they putting prisons in if you're not going to have piracy? But the griefing thing that CIG have to tackle is such a huge topic, because it is so hard to track. Like, they would need a specific community team to kind of be able to deal with that. Like, it is not a simple thing to punish people. I think that they'll struggle, and there'll be quite a bit of backlash, and you can't really do it in alpha. Like, how can you do it in alpha? I don't know. Like as much as I hate griefing, and I would say that there's elements of that with the rally, and and maybe what happened with Kane. There's definitely an element of griefing there. But how do you enforce it? How do you deal with that in the state of the game, and like without a proper team that's like looking at it properly? I don't know. At the moment, I wouldn't worry. If I was CIG, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think it's all just a bunch of hot air bullcrap right now, because the game's in a state that it is. I think once the game's released, sure, let's really look at legitimate griefing versus legitimate piracy. But we're on the same we're in the same boat as pirates, to be honest, because we have security running, and sometimes we can't fill 8 servers with security. But our security is in the same position that pirates are. They are there to shoot other people down and defend against pirates. Like, they love that gameplay. Pirates love their gameplay. Like, it's a cohesive environment, and I'm kind of all for that. But yeah, I don't think griefing can be really tracked or punished at this point.
Well, so you're asking me about that? Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think my question would be, what do you think about punishing griefing, legitimate griefing at this point, like in its early stage of development?
So I have a lot invested for griefing in terms of cargo, like trade, because like I'm not the Daymar Rally.
Mm.
I participate in the Daymar Rally, and I'm very invested in your activities, but currently, I want to make money. So I
Yeah.
passed 10 million credits this week, by the way. That's a huge achievement. I've never done that before. So that's a testament to how stable the servers are, because they've never I've not even closed. So I think about griefers stealing money, blowing up caterpillars, doing stuff like that, because they're very much interested in that right now. And there's a lot of problems. And it really kind of boils down to our society.
You talking about piracy or actual like
both?
stream?
Either or? Yeah, all of
Okay.
the above. I think I fall into all of the categories, to be honest with you,
Okay.
Cor5aire.
Because I honestly see them both very differently. Like, someone could be watching your cargo stream, find you and destroy you, or you could be doing a cargo run while you're not streaming it and be attacked, and that would be legitimate piracy.
Well, I mean, not everybody who attacks me knows I'm streaming. I mean, I only have like 5 viewers in a stream.
No, I'm not
most
saying.
times.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I get that. But let's just say, to divide the griefing and the piracy argument, that you were griefed while you're doing a cargo run streamed, and by griefed I mean they only found you because you were streaming, versus like just genuine piracy. Like, you're alone out in the verse with your giant cargo ship full of cargo that can be turned into money, and you get attacked by pirates. Like, do you find, are you saying your vested interest is that you would you'd be interested in, hiring hiring and doing it properly and having security for yourself, or you just don't like it, period.
No, I said investment because I was just trying to set context. Um, like that's where my interest lies. I still don't think there's that much of a difference. Like sniping is unacceptable, period. Like in all games,
I
it's
agree.
unacceptable.
Yep.
But
Yep.
like the problems remain. They're the same problem. And I don't know the solution. I'm not even going to pretend to know the solution to that problem. But here's the thing is that Mr. Roberts knows that there's a lot of Care Bear players out there, I myself included, and he wants me, us, whatever, to play with the FPS people. So
Mm.
it's their responsibility to come up with the solutions to that problem. I have no idea what they are, but it's a problem of humanity. I think we all have to live under the same roof together. You know?
Mm. But isn't it a problem for you that you're in a game that kind of does support piracy to a degree, and obviously punishments for piracy is going to change in the future. Um, but you just flat out don't like it. Like you don't feel like you're obligated to spend money and hire a couple of security people, or share your mission money with some security to fly with you to defend against pirates.
I do that.
You prefer there to be no piracy and just like basically hardcore punishment.
No, well, I right now in my streams I pay escort pilots if
Yep.
they're needed, but most cases they're not.
But you
because
hate doing it?
I don't care. No, in fact I encourage it. I have a spreadsheet just for it. I have charts on my stream overlays include escort pilots, so they're a part of the
Yep.
equation. But the abundance of griefing or the management of griefing is a problem that needs to be solved. So it's not in excess to the point where, I mean, griefing is where you can no longer play the game because you're being harassed by another player.
Yeah, true. Yep.
So I think that these problems can be solved in an enjoyable way where everybody can coexist. How about that?
Yeah, like I'm really interested. Like this next patch, I don't know, for some people it probably seems quite mediocre, but for me there's a lot in it for us. Like actually there's an absolute ton in it, right? We got the party system updates. We've got the player status system. So our races, depending on what they end up doing with the heat on Daymar or the cold on Microtech, our races need to make decisions on what they wear when they race, when they're getting out of vehicles, in and out of vehicles, support chips and whatnot. So there's a huge gameplay thing for us there. The prisons are huge for us as well, because I'm going to make it my personal goal to actually never go to a prison.
Oh,
When
really?
The pirates can test the prisons out. That's their job. I'm thinking about maybe never attempting to set foot in a prison, just as like, and I don't know, the game's in a test state, you should be testing it, and whatnot, and maybe I'll do it when games release. That's my goal, to never go to prison and be like a very, very lawful character. But
if you decide to do that, I want to jump on board with that goal. We'll have like a group of marathoners or something like that.
That have never been, but we'll be heavily targeted. That guy's never been to jail. Put him in jail. But but what I was really going to say was, with the pirates, it's going to add punishment. We're going to see what happens to people who try to attack the rally or other events, or or anyone, and how long they can stay punished, and then they have to stay away from that event. Obviously, you can kind of time it where you're not in prison before a major event happens, when it's heavily advertised like ours. But once you do, and you fail and you go to jail, I'll be very interested to see what that does for us. It could create a lot of safety for us and people like yourself. It could be over the top. Obviously, they'll adjust it. But those three big things, this patch is huge for the demo, really.
There's like I played Ultima Online a lot when I was younger. That's where I stem from, and I just think that this is the exact same thing as that. This is Ultima Online in space. Everything that Chris Roberts talks about, it's all the stuff that we had in UO, and like how piracy was managed in there. There was these systems in place to kind of balance piracy, but it existed and it sucked at times. But it was kind of the way of the game.
Yeah. I didn't play Ultima Online. I did play Ultima 7. I know they're very, very different, but there's a lot.
Different. You could join us sometime, by the way. If you
man.
to. Just saying.
Oh, I've never played Ultima Online. I played a lot of Ultima 7.
30 minutes, you could be up and running. Just throwing that out there.
Man, I don't know. I don't have time for 2 MMOs, to be honest. I'm probably in 3 right now.
Well, you don't have to start some race in it or something like that. So
I probably can't help myself. Some kind of Ultima online event.
I actually used
Yeah.
to do boat races back in UO in the day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool,
they're a lot
cool.
of fun actually, and they're really easy to do.
That's pretty funny. That'd be cool to watch. Yeah, man. So yeah. So yeah, this year with the quarantine and the restrictions about leaving your home, I'm getting a lot done. In the last 3 weeks, a lot has happened, and I spoke to you pre-show, and we're going to have a discussion about our personal goals and whether they align or whatnot. But a lot of that stuff's moving quickly at the moment. So, but like I'm learning a lot from community gaming, online gaming, Twitch. The whole emergent thing has got a lot of legs on it, obviously, because we're doing what we do now, but and wanting to expand on that. Um, I've learned a lot about marketing and the game culture, and in particular communities. And like, so I'm a Star Citizen, like that helps a lot because I'm quite heavy in the community, and I understand the community. So that's a huge advantage. But yeah, things are progressing and changing. And I know a few people when we first started kind of ask you what your goals are when you first start, because I think they're trying to suss you out. What do you want to do? You want to be like, big and famous? And obviously, no, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't stream. I'm not really a commentator. Like, I don't put my face on it a lot, but like, I still have aspirations. Like, I can still love doing what we do and have aspirations to make it larger or do other events, or, like, even start businesses. And I've had a lot of interesting conversations with people like yourself and others, about, expanding. And yeah, it's a whole nother avenue of existence. And I'd love to do community management. Like, I think about that stuff. I think about that stuff a lot. So, what about yourself? Like, you obviously, you love like the company side of things and in game and in a role playing perspective. But for you, like, if Ultima became like this big thing, or anything you're doing with like Star Racing, or if that stuff became big, where would you maybe like to take that? Do you have those kind of aspirations too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll go to space. You
Yeah,
know, make
Mars 2024. Yeah, we'll go
something
there.
like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's lots of things I'd like to do.
Mm,
Obviously run business. Like, I just like to have a business that worked in my life. I've run
mm,
so many businesses and none of them succeeded before.
yep.
And geez, I just like it to work one of these days. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I really like gaming, and I've always liked gaming, and I've always been fascinated by the business within gaming.
Blend.
Like,
Blend. Yeah.
back in the UO days, I used to do lumber. Like, I used to sell wood to people. So I used
Yep.
to have about stacks of 10,000 pieces of wood and sold it for about 120,000 gold pieces. And I'd take the wood and I'd put it on my boat, and I'd sail my boat to the other end of the world, and I'd deliver the wood. That's what I used to do. When my cousins, my family members always tease me because every time they saw me playing UO, I'd just be hacking trees. That's all I ever did, because I ran this business, right? And I made all this
The
money with it.
grind.
So, and I mean,
But
there was a point where I actually traded a house for wood, which was worth $160 American.
nice.
So I
Yep.
actually made real money
Wow.
with it. That was cool.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. See, that's super interesting to me. Um, like the psychology behind gaming and the psychology behind even like social media, and I'm really interested in the psychology behind marketing and all of that kind of stuff. I'm very, very interested, like, why people do certain things to make something else happen. Like, I'm super interested in that kind of thinking. And this isn't that dissimilar. What you just talked about isn't very, very dissimilar from that. And yeah, I like I love it. Like, I love seeing what people do with the game, where it progresses. Even I love watching the current streamers at the moment, the up and coming streamers, and what they are doing. Like, just take Bad News Baron for an example. Like, he was kind of just before I started, so I wasn't super familiar with him. But obviously, he's everyone knows who he is. But I saw a tweet the other week, and he holds business meetings for Bad News Baron. Like, he's created a life around that whole thing, and a job around that. And obviously Captain Richard's just gone full time, and that all interests me as well. Like, the whole streaming culture. I'm super interested in that, like mixing gaming and business. Like, isn't that kind of the dream? Isn't
Yeah.
that the dream. Yeah,
That's what I fight
for a lot
for.
of people.
I think that
Yeah.
it would be such a privilege, and I'd feel just so like happy with accomplishments in my life if I was to make money video gaming in some way, shape, or form. And I know I'm really not there yet, but man, it's just cool to be a part of, like you're saying, the streaming culture, because they're a
Mm,
different group of people.
yep. Yeah, it's a crazy world. Um, but yeah, it's cool. And yeah, Buster's obviously just finishing up as main host for Night Crew, so it'll be interesting to see what Night Crew do. But
Indeed.
Buster's obviously enjoyable to watch, and she's doing pretty well. And I enjoy catching her when I can. I think she's very entertaining. But just those kinds of people, moving up and trying to create something from it. And I'm sure when they first started, they didn't think that it would ever get to the point where they could not work, and that blend of business and gaming really kicks in. The streaming seems to be a very popular way to do that. I'm not so much interested in that. It's more this community event thing, and the whole back end of that's what interests me. But I still very very like watching what the streamers are doing.
Yeah. Well, same here. It's funny that you heard about the Buster thing. That's new news. I'm heartbroken, by the way, about it. I was quite
Yeah, well, it
surprised
is
to hear
new.
about
I
that.
think I saw it on Twitter like 2 days ago. I think. Um,
Is it like, there's a Star Citizen news agency. Did they like report it or something? It's like
no, I
headline
think it
news.
was straight out of Buster's mouth. I think I'm pretty sure it was on her page that I saw it. Um, Basically saying, regrettably, I'm stepping down and letting other people, take the helm and have a shot at it. That's basically what the tweet was about. So that's where I first heard about it, and then I jumped on her stream yesterday just randomly because I just happened to have time when she was streaming, and just had a quick chat. Asked them. Gandora was on there as well, and had a quick chat to them just to ask them about that. So yeah, interesting. Like I really like what the Night Crew is. I think the Night Crew is very cool. Like it's and I'm not just saying this. Like I honestly think having a little community of streamers that have similar interests and work together and do round the clock kind of shows. Like you can always kind of get a Night Crew approved show happening in your time zone, because that's extremely important to me. I miss a lot of primetime streaming because I'm in Australia. I'm like the opposite end of the clock. So even though I live in the future, which is amazing, but apart from that, I have to miss so much. And even sometimes when they're on, it's usually during my day, and I'm usually either at work or I'm doing something. So yeah, I do struggle with the stream clocks, but yeah, be interesting to see what you guys do. Night Crew does.
Well, thanks, man. That's nice things
Mm,
you say. Appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. Like I've been enjoying Henkin.
Hankins funny.
I,
I
I
love
got
Hankins.
like I don't know, it's probably a month and a half ago. I jumped on there and just watched him for a good solid hour and a half. Something that was pretty fun. Gandora's a nice dude.
Gandor is
Obviously,
something else. I'm gonna get him on the show one of these days because he's got stuff, man. Like he's
I
wild.
was
That
look,
guy.
I was what like it's just I was just looking at his Twitter feed yesterday. He's got his building his cabin up in the woods. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, I love Ace Tycho. There's plenty of good members in the Night Crew for sure.
Something you touched on here that I thought was interesting is that you're acquiring skills from being in Star Citizen. You said you learned marketing because of the DMR rally.
Yeah, well, I kind of applied what I know to this community, and I think I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I can do hype fairly well, to be honest. But so like doing little incentives and asking people politely, can we get on here? Can we do this? Like especially the first year. It's been a little bit different this year because I'm trying to work on the other events and have more regular events instead of having to build hype for the rally for the entire year. So specifically, that's why we've changed. Even though Run with Kane would technically be kind of marketing for the demo rally, if you want to be honest about it, it really is. But it's something fun. Like Dallas approached me to do this. It wasn't really my idea. They wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, we can do that. So it didn't come from me, but I was happy to work with it. I kind of created it. We kind of went in conjunction on the rules. Myself, Momo, and Dallas and Chili. But technically, it's kind of a bit of a marketing exercise as well, as far as keeping hype for the year. But it's just keeping people's interest. Like I'm really interested in that, and we kind of do that with my day job. We do a lot of marketing campaigns. we have two branches, not just universities. We have another large branch of the company which is just as big as our university side, and I'm heavily involved in the entire business and marketing. I've learned a lot from that, but applying it to a gaming community is slightly different, and I have
Mm-hmm.
had to learn like the stuff we did with a Little Bit of Madness, making a shoe after the first rally. I don't know, just a lot of stuff I've forgotten now, but we did a lot of incentives in the first year to kind of just kind of be relevant, be exciting, um, and still hold a quality event. Like that's obviously important. Like you have to know your product. You have to, you have to deliver. You have to commit. You have to do what you're going to say, and make sure you do it well. So all of those things combined. But the gaming community is slightly different as far as marketing goes, and yeah, and it is talking to a lot of people, and networking is huge. Like going to CitizenCon and meeting people you have spoken to or texted but never put a face to. That's important, and I thoroughly enjoy that. But yeah, I don't know, man. So I have learnt a lot um, in the last year and a half, 2 years.
I'd want to put like Star Citizen Corsair next to non-Star Citizen Corsair and see how they apply their jobs differently, or how good they are at their job, I suppose,
Oh
in the
yeah, so
real
you mean
world.
like my day job
Yeah, because like
versus
you know, and all of a
mm,
sudden you have these marketing superpowers because you basically have a side job of doing marketing, right?
mm,
And I wonder
mm.
if your professional business has improved because of that as well.
I think so. Like a lot of what we do is built on innovation to compete. So we're constantly and just being involved with gaming and technology, and like even like I've got my light set up and the mic set up, just learning about all of that and live broadcasting techniques like that all opens up a lot of questions and doors like that you get to research and talk about, and I can easily pull that back across to my job, and even just like researching on how to do merchandise properly, and all those kinds of things, that all definitely goes back to my day job. But in my day job, yes, innovation is our biggest, the biggest way we compete with our other major competitors, and I think we're quite good at that. I think I'm pretty good at it. Yeah, so yeah, that do go hand in hand. Mm.
It's definitely like same thing. It's happened. I feel like it's happened to me as well. Like obviously I learned how to do Ruby on Rails because of Star Citizen. Like yeah, that was springboarded with my full time job as well. But like
Yep.
I probably wouldn't have gone to the extremes that I've gone to in my through my life to learn this
Yeah.
language and to become proficient with it, especially in a short period of time. So
Yep. Yep.
that's magical. But you know, I was playing Minecraft a week ago, and for some reason, there was just a part of my brain that lit up because I wanted to build like a set, or I wanted to build like a play experience, like a game level. And I'm like, why
Yep.
do I have a desire to do this right now? It's like I've never had this in my entire life. And
Yeah.
it's like I
Yeah.
actually find a fascination with it in Star Citizen. Like in Star Citizen, I really analyze how the levels are put together for some
Yeah.
reason. And
Yep.
I just developed a skill somehow through like osmosis. I don't know.
Yeah. 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 You learn a lot from gaming. Personally, I think like I watched a lot of TV as a kid, and I guess right like now they say don't do that. And having a 2.5-year-old, you become extremely aware of whether they should or shouldn't be doing that. But honestly, I know when I was a kid, like I did grow up faster. I watched a lot of movies and a lot of shows I probably shouldn't have when I was younger, and my parents probably, I don't know if they cared or not at that point in time. And I would sneak shows and sneak movies and watch things, and I just found like I just learned so much from film, and not and mostly you hear a word you've never heard of, you kind of go, what does that mean? And you just, and because you're bombarded with that by watching so much content, you kind of, I feel like I have learnt a lot from TV and film in my younger years, and doing what we do today in my rally, it's the same thing. And just like you said, that whole osmosis thing, you take what you do in your daily life, you learn from your daily life, you apply it to your job. It's just natural. You just have to get out there and do more things, I guess. Or it really comes down to doing what you love in a lot of instances. You can apply it to your job. I'm just lucky. Like I do. I'm in a photographic position. Like I learned photography. Not that I photograph now, but I still have I've progressed to love the management of it, even maybe even more, and the marketing and the psychology behind it. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know what my point is, but you just learn a lot
No,
from like.
I agree. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like Star Citizen University almost.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that before Spazzy McGee and Online have a fight with one another, I think we should probably maybe talk more about Star Citizen, and we could talk
Okay.
about 3.9 and we could talk about 4.0, and if you really want to get risque, we could talk about 4.2. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's talk about Star Citizen. Let me bring up the roadmap just real quick. So got some key points. But yeah, so I mentioned 3.9 before, like the kind of the huge things that are coming for. Well, the huge things I see coming for, the Daymar Rally, which is the updated party system with the integration between Spectrum, the website, and the client. That's huge for me and our server leaders. It's a massive thing. And like at the moment, you have syncing issues, and even if you remove someone from your party on the website, because I often have to have the website open, and even with the website, I can't even scroll, so I've got to like minimize my window so that I can see more people, and it's just absolute. To be honest, it's an absolute nightmare to do it, and it's. When I first did it, I was kind of scared. I'm like, oh, everyone's going to be thinking, God, he's taking so long, but everyone's in the same boat. It's just so hard to use. But I'm really looking forward to that update. And obviously, player status is going to be huge. Prisons with piracy and griefing is a huge deal. I think there's a lot of discussion about people not wanting it. Oh God, I can't wait for it. Like, and I'm not even a pirate. Like, it doesn't. I want it. I want that protection. I've realized that it's not going to be perfect when it comes in. I realize that. They're going to balance it. Hopefully, they balance it well. Like some other things aren't balanced that well, but yeah. So should we just, you want to talk about 3.9 from your perspective? Because I've already kind of gone through it a little bit.
I think a lot of people, just regards to prisons, I think a lot of people are just cheesed because it's not the salvage mechanic,
Yeah.
or it's not fixing combat, or countermeasures are broken, or whatever.
Sure.
Salt.
Man, like I remember waiting for 3.0 to come, right? And like repair, salvage, mining, they were all within that first year. And I'm like, oh God, man, I'd love repair for the Day My Rally. That would be fantastic. Even salvage would give a lot of people gameplay from the rally, because they could just like salvage everything that gets destroyed across 8 servers. It's just so much stuff to salvage. And I just watched it get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And now it's just so far out of eyes view. I'm just completely I'm just gonna wait. Like Joran, I think Joran said it best. Like he loves the game a lot. He's happy with the decisions that CRG make, and I kind of feel a little bit the same. And I realize that people want to complain when something gets changed, and people want to know the reasons why. And I completely understand that. But I don't know. I'm just chilled out. Like I'll just move on to what's available. As long as the game gets released at some point, I'll be happy. So.
Well, I mean, you're kind of exceptional because you have bigger fish to fry than the next update. Although, like, it would be nice to have like something stable so people don't all crash out. That'd be good.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm not saying there's things I crave. Like, I think server meshing I would crave the most. And every time I speak to somebody about, how I'm running the rally, it's like, don't you want server meshing? It's like, yeah, that's probably the one. It's the biggest thing. That would just like managing 8 servers is hard. It is a hard thing, rostering 8 servers and making sure that everybody rocks up to each server perfectly, and the 8 server leaders that you have, don't have any issues in their own server. Like it is just a massive undertaking to do that kind of thing. So server meshing would be incredible, but I don't think we're going to get it by January. I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't think we're going to get server meshing by January?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Because they say they need server meshing for Squadron 42, and they want to have beta for Squadron 42.
Well, Squadron 42 is not coming out this year.
So it's not coming out this year.
No. Beta's not coming out this year. Like that's not going to happen. Yeah, it'll be at best, hopefully, first quarter next year for beta. It'll be at least 6 months behind. I think 6 months for me would be acceptable for a pushback on Squadron 42 beta. Understanding how they operate now, I think I'll be comfortable with that. If it was another year, I think I'd be pretty disappointed. But But no, server meshing. I don't really see us getting that in the PU. So I think the first step, obviously, is to increase the server cap. Like they haven't even done that yet.
Well, you can't do that until server meshing is in, right?
Yeah, I know, but I want unlimited server meshing. I don't want limited server meshing.
Right.
Yeah.
Hard things.
So yeah, 3.9. So what the big topics? Prisons for people. Like, what's your opinions on prisons? Obviously, we spoke about piracy a little bit earlier, but
I don't care much about prisons. I'm fascinated by the notion of you never going because I was considering that myself. I was a little bit sad about Crusader getting bumped for 4.0. That was my big thing. I guess that's not 3.9. Prowler's cool. Prowler's cool.
Meh.
Wait till you try it. That's good.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm not big on the alien ships, to be honest. I'm not. Yeah.
Well,
like they're fine.
I don't know. Do you do a lot of trade? Do you do
like a lot of trade.
So there's a lot of nonsense right now, from my perspective at least, with people have carracks. Everyone and their aunt has a carrack, and they're all doing trade with it now, and that never existed a year ago. So like,
I'm doing that.
All of the commodities are now out. Like we can't buy or sell anything.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, I'm thinking about 3.9. I'm hoping we'll get some more outposts. We'll maybe thin the herd a little bit, get something new going. So I guess that's what I'm looking for 3.9.
Yeah.
Hopes and dreams.
Well, you just need another mechanic.
Yeah, sure.
You just need salvage, and you'll be fine. Yeah. Like I hit an outpost that allowed me to buy $320,000 worth of medical supplies in one hit the other night. I'm like, what? So without having to do a pause or whatever, put that on. I think I went to Hearst, and then you can sell it in like $12,000 increments. Yeah, it's an absolute pain in the ass. Like it's strange. I am looking forward to cargo timers and stuff like that. Like that, that makes a lot of sense. Cargo docking and the whole hull C thing, like that just looks unreal. That'll add so much to it.
Yeah, and it was nice that they talked a little bit more about the cargo platforms. On the Star Citizen Live today. That was good. I think it was the Star Citizen Live.
Yeah, it was on there. Yeah.
Well, they're moving in the right direction at least. And, they're listening to us, which I think is great, because they also talked about paying players before, when like a month ago, Todd Pappy was like, oh, that's not a priority for us. So I guess now people are talking about it, which is nice. It was also interesting to hear that like they're really trying to govern exchanges of valued goods between players. So
okay, how do they plan to do that?
Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Just one thing that I found fascinating about that subject was how everything is so connected to one another. It's like, okay, well, if this person now possesses this, it was once possessed by somebody else, but it was actually an org asset that was owned by this person, but this was sold between this person, and it's like, and they have to do that for every item because of physicalized inventory.
Yeah, that's complex. Like different rates for stolen goods is what they said, right?
Well, not just stolen goods. I mean, it could be anything like guns or
merchandise. Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, ships or anything.
Ships.
I think they specifically mentioned ships. But yeah, you're right. Like that does make it more complicated. Slightly. I didn't realize. I kind of had an idea, but I thought they might restrict that based on the location and how you get in with stolen goods, not so much commodity pricing on stolen goods versus legitimate goods. But I guess it's kind of the same thing.
I'm sorry, I wasn't necessarily referring to the commodity prices. It was the exchange, the fact that they were talking about a way to trade currency between players.
Yeah, but originally, between players, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting scenario. Like if you're in the middle of deep space and you switch cargo over to another person, but the cargo was stolen.
Yeah.
But if it's detectable by a location as stolen, wouldn't it just that would always be tracked as stolen? That wouldn't make a difference, right?
But the thing is that stolenness refers to a status of the player, right? Because that player is a criminal because of the stolen flag.
Mm-hmm. But they would all be criminals after the goods have passed on from person to person. That's what you're talking about.
What if it was like
tracking that commodity between players while it's stolen and the status of that stolen goods, and then as it hits or it's detected by an officer or outpost, that person then becomes criminal because those goods are listed as stolen. Yeah, that all makes sense to me.
Then I wonder if what if they try and sell it and then the buyer gets a crime status for buying illegal cargo. It's
Yeah,
complicated.
that's like it's like an infection. It's just a huge infection. Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah. We know nothing about pandemics, but that's what it will be. That's what it will be. One person can infect 13 people with that one transaction of a good. So yeah, that's funny.
So 4.0 got
4.0.
got Crusader bumped. I was sad about that. I was so sad, but not entirely surprised, really, simply because it always gets bumped.
Yeah, I know. I figured it would get bumped as well. Like that. Although on the task that was there, they had made significant progress on it, but I guess they would still need more time. But it's not even in 4.1.
Yeah, it's supposed to go to 4.2 now. But I think it's just the network isn't there yet. I think OCS needs more work. They're talking about an iCache system for the object persistence or object physicalization.
What about the Cloud Tech though? Like for that location?
That's weird because like Cloud Tech is a crucial part of Squadron 42. Apparently, that's why they've been working on Cloud Tech. It's been on like the roadmap or what they had before the roadmap.
I would have thought it would be done.
3 or 4 years ago.
Well hit. Yeah, like the tech demos.
Yeah.
Even though that was quite a linear, video and probably, created for effect, but yeah, they've had that in previous across the verses, like, and in great detail about that technology a long time ago. So I would have assumed it would be able to come in with Crusader, but.
Well, I think about the complexity with gas giants because, to my knowledge, there's no other space simulator or video game that emulates a gas giant. And I mean, it's not just clouds, right? Like you're dealing with a very complex region of pressures and elements and minerals that are manipulated by those pressures, and they're going to have to simulate that in a video game. That's a type of physics that is quite foreign, I would say, to most video games. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the demos they were doing. I remember one specific demo. It was like an FPS environment, and like basically the depth of the amount of fog in particular areas and how the light passes through it and how the light affects what you can see. Like basically like natural fog and natural light. Like if you had a light source behind fog and someone was in there, you could, it'd be silhouetted. Just all of those aspects of interacting with that cloud environment. But that was ages ago. We're talking a year and a half minimum, surely. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. It will make the game look a lot prettier.
What's that?
It is very pretty. The gas tech, the cloud tech.
Yeah.
But it would be quite intensive, bro. Quite CPU intensive right now. I think like it will put a lot of stress on the servers. Surely, I don't know. Could be wrong.
I think one thing for me though is like I would just like him to wrap up the Stanton system. Like if they could just get this one planet done, then the first system out of 100 could be completed.
They're close, so close.
Yeah, so close. The last one's tricky.
Well, Grimhex improvements that kind of popped up. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I got people on my stream that are theory crafting that this is actually the outposts of Pyro that they're working on, but they're using Grimhex as a test bed for the tech.
Theory crafting. That's not a bad theory.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't say it. Penguins, I didn't say.
So doing like a like a design language for Pyro, but updating Grimhex to match that design language.
Exactly, because it's all like pirates and Vanduul.
It's all pirates and pirates.
In Vanduul, apparently. Yeah,
everyone's favorite pirates. Yeah, cool. So new Babbage shop editions as well. So I thought the shops would come in, but they're coming in later. Some of them, maybe.
Do you have opinions about new Babbage?
I haven't physically seen it. I like the look of the crazy eccentric disco and and I love the whole corporate vibe of it. I think it's cool. I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't think I'd live there, but um, I think everyone wants to live on Crusader, right? Everyone wants to go and live there once the city stuff's done for Crusader. I know. I heard you say it. I've been thinking it. Someone else you were talking to said it. Um, I think everyone wants to live there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a huge Crusader fan anyway. Like, I love the Star Runner. I love the Hercules. Um, I have both of those ships, and I can't wait for them to come out. So that might make me lean towards it. But yeah. Well, where are you going to live? Because definitely New Babbage is kind of up your alley a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about that today. I'm like, well, whatever trade route is best, that's where I'm living right now. So
Sure.
I don't know, man.
But why don't you just employ people to do trade routes for you? Isn't that how it works?
I mean, that would be great, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen. So as far as things go right now, I just follow the trade routes, and hopefully Microtech's got some good routes.
I'm gonna need some serious pioneer action in the future whenever that stuff comes in.
Yep.
They mentioned that Pillator. Was it Pillator? Talking about the base building stuff isn't that far away, which is interesting. Unless that was I could have sworn that was mentioned in that, unless it was a comment on that video. But yeah, I've got some grand plans for that stuff.
Yeah, same here. No, absolutely. Do you think Crusader will make it in to 4.2 this year? Think it'll be a 2020 planet?
I think they should finish it this year. I think wrapping up Stanton this year should be a goal, or close to. Like if they need to put in some, bits and pieces for the last touches on Crusader in 2021, so be it. But I think they should try and wrap it up.
And then Massacast wants to know if that Pyro might come in this year as well. Then,
you reckon?
Well,
Crusader got pushed to 4.2.
It just seems like it would be a bad taste to have the CitizenCon demo, show Pyro, and then be a whole another CitizenCon before you actually get to see it.
Nah. It took us ages to get 3.0. Like after the demo, I think you, at the moment they're probably sitting on a 2-year turnaround after a demo for a location to go in. Like they got to put jumping in with that, right? Nah, I'll go 2021 for sure. For Pyro.
For Pyro, 2021.
I'll put money on it. I'd say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess that I don't know that.
Have these people learned anything about CRG? There's no. That is not a surprising thing for me. That's just me. But yeah. What about you? What do you think about Pyro coming in?
I don't know.
You hopeful?
I don't really care because unless the trade lanes are going to be special, I don't think there's going to be much there. I don't know. I'm so used to just doing the same old thing. Like, yeah, I'd like some nicer scenery, but I'm probably not going to get that in Pyro. But like I said, I just wanted to complete Stanton just so I could be like, okay, milestone number 1 is done.
Well, yeah, I had to defend Suss's last night against someone who had backed. I don't know when they backed, probably like 2015. And they kind of they haven't kept up with it. I had to explain the demo rally to them and I showed them some videos. And then then they're talking about pledge goals and money and spending and they haven't kept track of it. So they don't really know. I had to explain deadlines and timelines to them. And, and this is a backer. And I don't know, it's frustrating and difficult when they don't keep up with it. There's just so much bad press. Mm-hmm. I think Montoya did a video on Inside Gaming the other day about I just find that an organization that runs a podcast or a gaming show or an article when they're not community members, it just never gets a good light. It just doesn't seem to happen very often. When someone who isn't that connected to the Star Citizen community, they put out a positive article. It's kind of a bit scary, to be honest, that it has such a low opinion outside of the community.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you're selective about the news, you don't do enough research, then you develop this bias. It's like anything. It's like coronavirus. People believe in those crazy theories out there just because they're not researched in it, But if you actually do research, you learn out it's not a scam, yes, people are buying imaginary spaceships, but at the same time, this could be a groundbreaking technology they're developing. Could be the next
Mm,
Microsoft.
mm, yeah, yeah. You can apply that. You can apply a lot of these, this technology that they made, the tools that they've made to, a fully open world Western, or something completely opposite from space simulator, but make a very, very detailed world in another genre, and it'd be very successful. I think Rockstar have done exactly
Yes,
that
they
with
did do
their
that.
with their tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always thought, I've thought about that for quite some time. Like, once this game is done, like what does CIG think? And they use these tools and do another genre. I know Chris is not, like, Chris loves his space sims and he's always made space games. So it'd be interesting to see the direction they take after they complete this project, have all these amazing tools and create this amazing tech, and the container system, and what they've done with ships is just incredible, and apply that to something, another genre, and make another massive revenue stream. I'm very interested to see what that next step is. At the moment, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying alpha, clearly, but yeah, I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm having a good time so far, so I have no
Mm.
complaints. um, in 5 years from now, how do you see the Daymar Rally?
Uh, I see it more entertaining, smoother, um, more mechanics, more detail, a better experience. Hopefully bigger with more viewers. Like, I didn't really think about this when I first started, and I only really thought about it in the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 months. But once all the accounts and the game's released and the SCPU is released, and all those 2.5 million odd accounts, that obviously there's quite a lot of doubles in there. But they come online, and with any luck, we're still good at that time. And the Day Morale is still holding events annually in January, which, if it had my way, it will be. That all those people come online, and they come and watch, and we just grow with the community. And I would love to keep this thing successful, make this thing successful, and make other events successful. Even in the future, work with other people and do large events with them, and um, but yeah, there's just so much more. There's just so much more to come for the Demo Rally. Like, soon as repair comes in, the whole game changes. Well, the checkpoints that I originally thought of aren't even in the rally. So when that comes in, we can put those checkpoints in, and we can add more mechanics. Even the healing stuff that's coming in could be important. Like I said, salvage, but just the weather stuff that's coming in will change the game for us. It's going to be pretty cool. But just, all, obviously, the server side tech and the smoothness and the desyncing's gone, and like party systems. It's just so much more to come for the Demo Rally, to make it, make it something really cool, really great. So looking forward to a lot of things.
Let's just, do you mind theory crafting with me for like 5 minutes? Like, imagine 5 years from now we go ahead, sorry.
No, you go.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're all right with this. So imagine
Yep.
5 years from now and all of those mechanics are in. So refueling, repair, rearm, I don't know. What
Refueling.
else?
Yep.
Everything, right? So what does that actually look like? Like, there's crucibles, there's starfarers. Like, will each ship be responsible
Hercules
for
will
their
be
own?
it.
How's the Hercules relevant?
I see the Hercules as like the perfect pit stop vehicle. The Starfarer is also, I don't know, I think it will be supported, but just the layout of the Hercules, for protected repair and just run in and run out, like, it's got the dual platforms, right? So you can pass through the Hercules. It's a smooth checkpoint vehicle. So if we were to have it as a checkpoint for checkpoint repair, refuel, whatever we can do with the Hercules at the time, I just think the layout of that ship is perfect for checkpoints, for rolling in and rolling out, and like not getting in the way of other participants. I just think it's a much better system for checkpoints. So I see the Hercules being quite a large part of our checkpoints. Obviously, whatever is required for refueling is extremely important. So repair and refueling at a checkpoint is the goal. So whatever ships make that happen. But I see the Hercules. Obviously, the Starfarer looks like it's the best option at the moment, for a large refueling craft, for multiple vehicles. But I don't see. We may be able to do it with small ones, because I don't see bikes and cyclones and rovers really, sucking up too much fuel.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is that an issue right now?
Yeah.
Is a lot of people running out of fuel?
No,
No.
no.
I mean,
All,
it doesn't make sense for them
the
to
fuel
run them.
mechanic's not even in. Like, it's not even in the ground vehicles at all. You can do an entire 5-hour course in a rover, and you don't run out of fuel. So
Yeah.
hmm.
But repair,
Yeah.
obviously. So if they do repair, is that going to be provided by the Daymar Rally, or is it going to be the responsibility of the teams to do that?
Both.
Okay.
A checkpoint. We have the checkpoints are evenly spaced out. There's obviously the current first main checkpoint you have now, and you'll be able to do it there as well. But there'll be 2 more additional checkpoints that you can repair without support. But if you have support and you need to do spot repairs, go for it. But we will provide, because we still have solo races, right? People who do it without support craft. So we still need to supply something along the way that can support them as well a little bit, just to even up the playfield a little bit. So I have a lot of sympathy and a lot of respect for solo racing in the Daymar Rally without support craft. So I want to supply that to them as well. So yeah, that will happen for sure.
What about oxygen?
Well, the checkpoints will serve for that as well. At the moment, it would work the same way. You could just stand inside the Hercules and it will replenish your oxygen. Oxy pens are currently unlimited. I would like to see a minimal amount of oxy pens carried by a player, which I think it will, in a backpack or on your person. And you either get the support craft to restock your your racer, or just have a giant box of oxy pens sitting up and med pens sitting up in the support craft instead of you carrying everything on your person like you do now, which I think is rubbish. But that'll change. So yeah, that'll all rotate. But you have to store it on your support craft and you'll have to restock yourself. Yeah.
Okay, well, just FYI, Ultima Energy would be hopefully providing oxypens to the participants. I mean, it's a gas, right? We can take care of that, selling oxygen.
You're selling on site.
Absolutely.
On Daymar.
But we have to call them oxys, and that has to be a thing.
Okay. So you have on your website, you're going to update the rates and everything for the sale of your oxy pens and med pens and fuel. You're going to have that, right?
I mean, yeah, whatever. Sure. Yeah,
Sure.
whatever it boils down to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be incorporating in that website. Yeah. So it's like I'm working on it. Just got to bear with me. Actually, I was a little bit relieved when they pushed back Crusader because I knew that refueling wasn't going to come anytime soon, if not for Crusader. So they could take their time with it. So then I could take my time with it.
Okay. Yeah, obviously we'll have big discussions about refueling and the restock of items and, all of that good stuff when it all arrives, whenever that might be.
Whenever that might be.
Currently not on roadmaps, right? I don't think, right?
What's the biggest surprise and biggest disappointment with this year's rally?
The biggest surprise is that we held 8 servers. 10 hours before registration closed, we were half that number, and then within 10 hours, it doubled. And I was like, oh, geez. How are we going to do this? And then I had to go to security and say, hey, look, this is how many servers we're going to run. So that was a huge, pleasant surprise. It was exciting as well as scary. So a bit of popularity. But as far as the Daymar Rally, but as far as disappointments and surprises goes, the disappointments would be that we haven't been able to improve the mechanics within the Daymar Rally pretty much at all. Like there hasn't been anything really new mechanics wise yet. 3.9 is going to bring some weather adjustments. The medical gameplay doesn't really affect us too much yet. We're still kind of playing with that, but there's no really need to respawn. Like once you die, you die. Like you can getting healed is fine. If you got a slight injury, as long as you don't die. If you die, you're out. So it's not a huge impactful piece of gameplay. So the disappointment will be that I haven't really even the party stuff, the server meshing, repair, refuel, none of that stuff's come in. All they've done for us is give us ghost rocks, more rocks, harder terrain. It just, we haven't been able to add mechanics and improve race that much yet. What's been released in the last, since 3.0 basically. So, or 3.2, yeah.
Soon TM, I'm sure.
But as far as like exciting things and good things, I think 3.9, funnily enough, is actually probably the most exciting patch for gameplay opportunities for the rally, and that's honestly the truth. So, yeah.
How so?
All the things I mentioned twice already. So
Okay.
player status, heat, cold. You have to wear particular equipment to survive in those areas. So if you're getting out of your, cyclone or whatever to go to a support craft or switch vehicles, because you have to be properly protected. The prisons do affect us. They will affect us. They will hopefully, with any luck, keep pirates away unless they're, prepared, which I'm sure they will be. But that's just something. But it might actually, if they do commit crimes during the rally, and they are taken to prison during that time period, that they are kept away after they commit their first one, which is still a huge help for us. So that's huge. The party integration is huge as well, so as far as from an organization perspective. And we haven't had anything of this. Those three things are more impactful than anything we've had since Cyclones got put in the game, basically.
I totally forgot about the actor status system. So people are now going to have to carry sandwiches with them when they're going out on a race.
Yep, correct.
That's important.
Yep. So if you got a 3-hour race like the Cyclones can, then you will need to eat.
Cool.
Yeah, it's plenty to come very soon, very, very soon.
So, do you still need people to help? Are you still like looking for help out there? If so, who and what?
We did really well. Well, we're pretty tight for January. I've got 2 cameramen within the last couple of days, but we're always looking for more camera people. Thanks for asking, actually. We're always looking for more camera people. Like, I do have a lot of really great people for server leading and organization and those kinds of things. We're probably technically at our limits with the staff we have now on an 8-server event. Server meshing would just make that a non-issue. But if we were to go into next rally without server meshing in the same conditions we have now, with having to hold a series of servers, yeah, we're definitely going to need a little bit of help. Camera crew, extremely important. Like, the more camera stuff we have, the more coverage we can do, the more things we can track. So there's almost an unlimited possibility for camera crew. So if you're into smooth flying and you want to practice tracking a cyclone through some terrain really low, and you're good at that kind of stuff, and you want some really hardcore practice, like we can definitely supply that. So if you are interested in that kind of gameplay, then we can provide that. Like, our team's amazing, and they've been with us for a long time, and we've recently got a couple more on board as well with Flag. Shipwreck's been really good. Blood Eagle from Diwali Racing is also just doing some ground camera testing this weekend as well with Momo, and Blood Eagle. They're going to do some ground cameras on a Dragonfly. So that's something else we're testing. So yeah, mostly camera people.
Okay.
That will expand though with more mechanics, obviously.
Yeah,
a lot more reason to have more staff. So yeah.
Now you're gonna have to get mechanics for your mechanics.
Yep. Like checkpoint crew. Gonna be fuelers and mechanics and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
We have a video here. Did you want to do the video still, or?
Yeah, is this the course route for this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just flick it up.
Flip it up here.
Just flick it up, and I'll just explain it real quick. It's 2 minutes. It's just the course we're going to run this weekend.
So, okay, so it's live now. You should be able to see it.
So basically, the start line there is kind of Cane Rock. It's just off to the right. So that's where Cane kind of perished. So it's 15-ish kilometers away from Shubin mining facility. So yeah, all the races will start between those 2 rocks you just saw, and they'll all run from that position, 15 kilometers to Shubin mining facility. The terrain's pretty full on, and we did some testing last Monday, and going through the terrain, we did have some desync issues, so we're just going to try and combine everybody into a vehicle, try and hone that down a little bit before we put them out onto the start line. But we will still have issues with desync, but it's still all good and fun. But we have like a really large camera crew, so we'll be covering a lot of angles, and we're all on that server together, which is good. But yeah, as you can see through the terrain, it's pretty consistent, but it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Plenty of rocks. There's combat in this weekend, so The only weapons you can have is an arc light pistol and with no mods, and you can take a knife as well if it gets that close. So after a few minutes, you can attack other runners. So yeah, so there's a bit of combat, just like the main rally. A little bit of combat in there. So each team has two members in a team. They have a runner and a support craft to help you navigate to Shubin, and also warn you about other potential opponents and teams as well. So 2-person teams instead of our normal 4-person team. So yeah, so the terrain is Daymar. It's Daymar again. So plenty of dirt and rocks and sandstorms. And we're just, this is just going to happen just before 3.9 goes live. So by the time we hold this event next year in the future, it'll be a completely different story with, the equipment that they're going to have to take with them. It's about 45 minutes to an hour of running. So it's not huge. It's not that long compared to the rally. So yeah, and then when we do get to the finish line, we're using either of the large landing pads have this white marker in the middle for to navigate down to a landing pad on a ship. So everyone just has to run onto that grid section, and they can finish up there to complete their check-in. So it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So yeah, check it out. We'll be Crucian's hosting this weekend. He's commentating this weekend. We've got a bunch of cool videos. The JRD and F are making a trophy for this.
No way, really?
Yeah, there's a trophy. So Dallas Initiative, who are sponsoring this particular race, they kind of approached JRD and F before they even spoke to me and asked them about it. And then Cal's kind of mentioned that they had asked them, and like, oh, okay, I'll see what they haven't even really spoken to me yet. So we ended up having a chat, and I'm like, yeah. Look, that's fine. That's great. Like all the races, want as many prizes as they can get throughout the year. So we're putting that on, and Dallas are helping out with those prizes. So that's very, very kind of them. So yeah, there's a few ships you can win in the trophy as well, which will be very cool. Very cool. I believe that Cal's is doing a video for us, I think. And basically, I think it's the severed leg of a runner. I think with boot and bone on like a piece of rock. I think it's something like that. I saw early drafts of it. I haven't seen anything recent, so that's the trophy. We'll see what that turns out like. But JRD and F will do trophies for us for all our events, including the Hearst and Her Locker, which I have given them a design brief for, and then also for the Stand Sevens League event that we have planned this year as well. So plenty of actual physical trophies to win. And, in 5 years, like you asked earlier, I'd like to see 5 years of trophy lineage in people's hands across the world.
That would be cool. I love that
Very
we're
cool.
like keeping the lights on at JRDF. Like this, it's like random Star Citizen construction projects.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, like obviously they're an events-based company business. So they I'm sure they hit pretty hard with a lot of the upcoming events in the next 6 months, and it'll be pretty tough for them. But yeah, like we support them. We love them. They're very, very, very professional and very like they are perfectionists in what they do. Yeah, they're great.
That's good. All right, well, it's coming up to 2 hours now, so.
Yeah, no worries. I talk way too much. So
no, it's good. No, I appreciate it. No, thank you so much for taking the time and being on this.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Did you want to put any icing on the cake? Is there anything you want to kind of finish up with?
Yeah, I'll tell you where you can see us. So twitch.tv/DayMyRally. You can catch the Run with Kane Memorial Foot Race this weekend. Crucian's hosting it, and it will be different. It'll be different. We'll see what it's like. It's kind of our first big foray into. It is a slower pace, but we tried to add the combat too, so hopefully it's entertaining for everybody. Feedback's welcome, but you can check out the rules. There's a small rule book for that. If you go to daymyrally.com, there's a Run with Kane registration in the top menu. If you click on that, the rules are in there. You can read all about the rules and the history of the last 2 years of foot racing within the Daymar Rally, including a little bit about Radar from the first year and a bit about Kane. Also, check out that Imperial Geographic Daymar Rally documentary.
Yes.
That's very cool. It's about 20 minutes. It's on the Dallas Initiative team that ran in the Daymar Rally, and it's very interesting. It's very cool. It's very well done. Check that out too. Yeah, check out Ultima too. Go check out the website if you haven't.
Ultimate Energy, get a space pen.
Yeah, go get a space pen.
I'll make sure
get
to
refueled. Get refueled.
get refueled. I'll make sure to include a link on the YouTube page for the Kane's documentary. I think everybody in Star Citizen should see that. It's wild.
It's great. It's detailed and very well done. It's very clean. Good.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Cor5aire, for joining me today.
Thanks, mate. Thanks very much.
DaveRally.com.
Thanks, Night Crew.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a good night.